Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on DC TV and I guess potentially the Arrowverse? So of course the epic 5-part Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event has now concluded. We've watched it, it's done, it's finished, we came and conquered. And as we saw throughout the event, the multiverse as we knew it was completely destroyed or wiped out by the wave of antimatter from the Anti-Monitor before the 7 Paragons worked together with the Spectre in order to give birth to a new, a brand new multiverse. And as we saw in this new multiverse, we had Earth Prime, where all of our Arrowverse heroes and Arrowverse shows now reside. Earth 2 contained Stargirl and the JSA, or the Justice Society of America. Earth 9 contained the Titans. Earth 19 has Swamp Thing, Earth 21 has the Doom Patrol, and Earth 96 contains the Christopher Reeves Superman, obviously now portrayed by Brandon Routh since 2006. But Earth 12 also contained a version of a Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps, with us seeing a Green Lantern flying from Earth and then heading to Oa. Now, while it is still up in the air as to exactly what version of the Green Lantern world this is supposed to be and represent, the footage that was used was from the 2011 Green Lantern movie, which of course wasn't the most well-received movie in a couple of areas. This is probably an uncommon and unpopular opinion, but I actually don't think that movie is that bad. It's pretty enjoyable. It's not a great movie, and like you know that, but it's enjoyable. Anyway. So yeah, it wasn't confirmed during that scene exactly what version it was, despite the recognizable footage used, from the 2011 movie, and it still hasn't been confirmed by people behind the show, as I know of yet. And it might be one of those things where they just are waiting, and they're not going to confirm or deny, they're just waiting. But there is a possibility that this was included to possibly set, up an exact Earth number and just a location, I guess, you could say, in which a future show in the DC Multiverse will be set, that of course being the Green Lantern show set to appear on HBO Max in the near future. We don't have an exact time. Now, we of course got first word of this, new show towards the end of last year, as well as a Strange Adventures show along with that. So that Strange Adventures show could be set on another Earth as well. But that was all that we had heard about it, outside of a rumor about it being about Kyle Rayner, which has now been revealed as a made-up rumor from an online quote-unquote scooper. But that has all changed in regards to not getting info, because we now have some concrete details to talk about. So yeah, let's go over them. But of course, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this. I guess what version of, a Green Lantern or Green Lanterns would you like to see on the show? Are you looking forward to it? It's going to have a big budget. It's pretty much got a movie budget to do this entire season with. It's probably going to have like 8 to 10 episodes. So let me know what you think about this show, and if you're looking forward to it and different thoughts you have about it. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, why not drop a like on it to show your support and I guess excitement. So over the past few days or so, there have been the Television Critics Association, or the TCA press events, where a variety of networks and services presented or just simply talked about their upcoming content, and that was no different for HBO Max. And it was here where they did a lot of stuff, but where we also got some information on the upcoming Green Lantern series on the streaming service. So the HBO Max head of original content, that being Sarah Aubrey, revealed this. It will span several decades and focus on the origin stories of 2 major Green Lanterns on Earth, as well as in space, going into the Sinestro story. So, wow. Even though that was just one quick brief rundown, one sentence, it actually does give us some stuff to think about, talk about, chat about, and wonder where they will take this show. So the first thing I do want to point out, because I know it might seem like so basic, but I saw people online getting confused about it, and I don't want people going on to get confused about it. So I just want to make sure everyone or anyone watching that also doesn't get confused with this is, up to date. But several does not mean 7. So when they say several, decades, they aren't saying 70 years. It could mean 70 years, but I would expect it to be about 3 or 4 decades, about 30 to 40 years. I guess if that is just in relation to the Earth, story side of things, and nothing to do with what's going on in space, because that could last, that could be centuries, if not millions of years, or thousands of years. But that could indicate that one of the Green Lantern origins will span back that, 3 or 4 decades to when they were a child. Not sure if we would get, see one becoming a Green Lantern back then. Otherwise, we are going to be dealing with a pretty damn experienced member of the Green Lantern Corps from Earth. But who exactly could be the 2 Green Lanterns from Earth that we see appear in the Green Lantern show on HBO Max? Well, I think this would probably be the thinking from most people, and that is that we will get one that has been around for a bit. Not, as I said, not like 30 to 40 years, but a decent amount. They're pretty experienced. And then there will be one where we see them go through their origin in present day, like in real time, if you want to call it. And while there are probably 4 solid options you could choose, for that more experienced Green Lantern, including, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, and even John Stewart, you would think they will go for Hal Jordan as that older, experienced Lantern. And with the other one, due to fairly recent popularity, and mainly due to the character being fairly new to the comics as well, I would like to see them go with Jessica Cruz, or I think they will go with Jessica Cruz at least. There are some other options where you could make it Kyle and Guy. That'd be a good combo, but I can't see them going past Jessica Cruz as like the new Green Lantern. They would be finding their feet in present day throughout the show. It's a female character as well. Female human Green Lantern. I think it's an easy pick that she'll be the new one at least, or at least one of them. And I guess you could toss it up in regards to what's going on with the other one, but I think they'll go with Hal Jordan. Now, also, just as a side mention, with the 2 Green Lanterns in their origins, they could just make it Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz, as they were introduced fairly close to each other, and I think it was only like a year or 2 between them both being introduced. So with Simon coming first, I think a year or 2 before. But I think they will go with a sort of like teacher and student pairing, if that makes sense, or mentor and student, which will sort of be a parallel to, I guess, what's going on with the villain for the season. Now, we should expect to see the origin of both characters in regards to when we see them initiated into the Green Lantern Corps, but we should also see flashbacks of their lives and what led them to that exact moment when they meet their rings. So with Hal Jordan, just like you would know if you have seen the Green Lantern film, because that was fairly comic accurate in like the first bit, we should see him like worshipping his dad as a hero and his idol, but then also watch his dad die right in front of him. We should then also see him, go through the training of the Air Force, following in his father's footsteps and stuff like that. Now, you'd have to think, if Hal Jordan is one of the Lanterns on the show, they will do the whole absurd crash sequence where Hal is then chosen as his replacement. But it would be interesting to see how they tackle this, whether it would be all in one episode, like they just do a Hal Jordan origin episode, or they might spread it across multiple episodes to match it up maybe with what's going on in present day. So they might reference Abin Sur and then go back to that point where the crash happened and various things like that. And in regards to Jessica Cruz, well, she would actually have a fairly interesting history and origin to witness on TV. So if you don't know, I don't know a lot of, if you're not familiar with Green Lantern, at least recently, Jessica Cruz was out on this hunting trip once with some of her friends, and unfortunately came across some shady stuff going on with some like gang members and everything like that. And of course, the gang members in the forest or woods can only mean one thing. They're not there having a picnic, they're not having a campfire, they were disposing of evidence, they were burying a body. And unfortunately, due to coming across this, the gang members can't really have anybody knowing what went down, so they shoot and kill Jessica's friends while she's actually able to escape and get away, but it's only her. And due to all of this, she was left traumatized by the events on that trip. So Jessica went on to develop anxiety, like a really bad case of anxiety, and basically just sheltered herself away, was a hermit, like a hermit crab, just locked herself away for years on end. So they might change some of the origin in regards to how Jessica would get to be an official Green Lantern if she is one of the chosen 2, because it's a bit of a different, like they go through a series of events in the comics with her that I don't know if they would want to go with that through the show. Like there's a couple of stages that I don't think work that best for like a clean story, if that makes sense. But her experience in the lead up to her becoming Green Lantern could be a very interesting watch. Now, the last thing to go over is actually the inclusion of the villain for this season, that of course being Sinestro, which I think a lot of people were unsure if they would go with this, and well, they are. It looks like they are. And it seems like it might be in a pretty potentially fairly in-depth manner. So it seems, and I know I'm going off only a few words here, but still, it does seem that they will go through, most likely with flashbacks and then present day stuff as well, Sinestro's time as a member of the Green Lantern Corps and being one of the high, and the greatest and most respected members of the Corps, to his transition to a Yellow Lantern. I would expect them to go fully comic accurate with this, as it would allow that a lot of interesting scenes with himself and Hal Jordan's Green Lantern as both a mentor when Hal first becomes a member of the Corps, and then later on, just before Sinestro gets a bit, yellow with envy, shall we say. And also, this would be a good parallel with Sinestro being the mentor to Hal being the mentor to possibly Jessica Cruz, and it might have been Hal might have flashbacks to it and learn from Sinestro's mistakes, if that makes sense. Now, the big question around this is when will it release? When are we going to get this show? And when will people start being cast? When is Hal Jordan possibly going to get cast? Now, HBO Max launches in May, but this won't be, this Green Lantern show isn't a launch show. It won't be out in May as well. So Honestly, it could come out at the end of the year. I'd be shocked though. Like I think most people are expecting to get next year sometime. Like it would be very surprising if it did come out in 2020. But I'd rather than take this time with this because it's a TV show, but it's Green Lantern. Like really, they struggle to do Green Lantern in the cinematic stuff. Like it's not an easy thing to do. It's a lot of CGI, a lot of crazy stuff here and there. So I'd rather them take their time. And just produce something good. Like I said, it's only gonna be like 8 to 10 episodes, I'd guess. But I'd rather them take their time and produce something really solid. Because we'll get more DC content on HBO Max. So even if like one show or two debuts before this, but yeah, I'd rather them take their time. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this Green Lantern show? What do you think of my idea with being like Hal Jordan and Jessica Cruz, where it's like the oldest Oa connected Green Lantern with the newest one? Do you like that, or would you have another pairing? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.